So I've been slacking on videos because I've been waiting for the HP tuners to come in for the Envoy. So I was trying to kind of make a complete video about turboing that thing. So in the meantime, I got this thing compounded because the big single wasn't working for me. And now that it goes fast, it looks good underneath. It just looks like shit externally. So what I'm doing is I'm peeling off the old black wrap that I kind of half-assed put on the truck. And I picked up this 3M black cherry wrap. I'll see if I can show it pretty good, which should look pretty good. You know, worst case, if it doesn't look good, at least the truck's one color. So I'll try and teach you that wrapping your shit box isn't really that hard. It helps to kind of have a nice smooth surface. So I guess I'll start off by removing this old wrap, and I'll cover doing this fender. This old wrap is about 2 years old, I think. I did the roof, part of the cab on that side, and this fender. And it's held up pretty good. Like, I mean, granted, this thing hasn't stayed together long enough to drive it, to actually put some real wear on it, but as far as sun fade and everything goes, the winter, it's held up pretty good, and it comes off pretty easy. I think there's something about a release agent for this that might make life a little bit easier, but I didn't want to bother trying to find it, even though I just went to the vinyl wrap place today. But the main thing about wrapping is that you have a nice smooth surface. You can't put it to like a rough kind of coarse surface like bed liner or primer. The next thing is that any flaws in the paint might show up through the wrap. So if there's like a little rock chip or a dent, you might see it through the wrap. It kind of depends on the color, and really all these trucks are 20 footers at best. So if you got a little chip, don't worry about it. Get a dent, ain't gonna hide the dent, of course. These fenders are all right. I got a brand new set inside, but I have to paint the inners and paint them, and I figured, fuck it, I'll wrap these fenders for now. See how it looks. So you can do this with the fender off, wrapping it. It's kind of tough because you have to pull on it pretty good. For the inner fender well and any real, like the door panels or any trim pieces, I like to use this trim screwdrivers. I think that's about the most of it. So the next step is making sure this is a nice clean surface. So any dirt, dust, specks, like there's a little bit of adhesive left over from the vinyl wrap, which I'll remove with some brake clean. Find your choice brand of brake clean, not sponsored by CRC, and a somewhat clean microfiber cloth. Some people may be more picky about their paint. This thing's rattle canned, I don't care. And it's gonna get vinyl wrapped. But nicer trucks, maybe there's some better method out there. I think brake clean's pretty safe for all paints. Just make sure your rag's clean. But be sure that you clean even around the edges and places that you'll be wrapping around. Because you can't just wrap to where you see, you have to wrap around the corners so that it holds the wrap. So in the jamb of the fender here, behind this fender liner, which I'll remove shortly. Up here, around the headlight. So the next step is planning how you use your material. Vinyl wrap rolls typically come in 60-inch tall rolls by however long you'd like. So you have to plan how you're going to do something to maximize the usage of your vinyl wrap, because some of this stuff is expensive. So this wrap here was $37.60 Canadian, so like $23 American per yard. A yard's 3 feet, so I got for this truck 19 yards, and it would be a little bit more if I decided to do the roof, but my roof's already done black, and as you can see, it just gets covered in soot anyways. So I can get away with 19 yards. That does the bumper, the grille, the hood, both fenders, both doors, the cab, both box sides and the tailgate. So short box guys might be a little bit less. Regular cab long box guys a little bit less. I'm extended cab long box, so you're both as long as you're gonna get. So planning on how I'm doing this is you measure what you'll be wrapping. So this fender at the longest point is about 53 inches. You want to allow yourself about another, say, 2 inches on that side, 2 inches on this side. So that gives me about 60 inches, which is the height of the roll, which is pretty tight. Now, then there's the height. So these fenders are pretty long and awkward. So if I were to go off of the bottom of the fender and do it in one go, it'd be 32 inches, which the majority of the surface area I'll be wrapping is up to about here, which is 15 inches, roughly, with a little bit of leeway on both sides. So if I were to try and do this all in one sheet, I end up wasting about 15 inches of material trying to do that. So what you can do, depending on the material, is you can wrap to about a body line, say this one right here, and then you can cut off a small chunk and wrap the remaining and blend it on here, and really you're not going to notice it unless you look really hard. It's important to have some clean hands. If you get any dust or dirt, it's adhesive, so it's going to ruin how well it sticks. The other things of note is you have a nice calm day, no wind, minor bugs floating around so you don't get too pissed off. You kind of want it kind of warm, not too cold. If it's hot, then it makes the material really stretchy. So you want it to be about plus 20 Celsius, and I'm sorry for the Americans, I have no fucking clue what's in Fahrenheit. Warm but not hot. You always want to be careful with a fresh roll. It's easy to kink the bottom, ruin it. It's also easy to have it go sideways and kink on you as well. Worry about getting little kinks in it. It actually lays out pretty smooth, and it's pretty good at recovering itself. A little bit short there, but whatever. Right? It stretches. I like to peel the top half and lay it on first. This is about the point where you're going to start questioning everything you're doing. Things aren't looking good. It's a disaster. Holy shit. But bear with me here. It gets better. So what I like to do is I like to have it partially stuck on the top. And a lot of people, myself including, seem to think that you need a lot more heat than you really do with these. They're actually quite flexible. So what you want to do is you take a good grasp and roll it over like that. Careful to get as many kinks out of it as possible. You have to do this a gajillion times, like not even over exaggerating. Stretching it, making sure the kinks are out of it. And that's pretty fucked up there, but whatever. We'll learn. That's why you get extra. I haven't used heat yet. So when you get lines here, you want to push along them, working your way out. push your excess around the corner. Be sure to cut your corners so they don't bind up. Watch out where it gets crinkled here. You're going to push along the lines. See right there? Just go made a crease. So this is the tough part of the fender to do right.